Very interesting. Um, let's see here. Yeah. Okay. So here you see some of the art of the Persian people. Very advanced society, overlooked often in this time period by Americans and Europeans because they're not Greeks or Romans, but the Persians were very advanced. All right, here's a map of the Persian Empire at one of its heights. Here is Greece, and you can see that it took over a little bit of the Greece area here in Macedonia. It took over ancient Egypt. Mesopotamia fell to it as well, and all the way over to the Harappan society. The Persian Empire was the largest and greatest empire the world had ever seen up to this point. And they were really and they really showed following empires really what it meant to be an empire. So they were founded by a man you need to know named Cyrus the Great. And what made Cyrus different was emperors before Cyrus had always come in and destroyed the temples to the people's gods that he was conquering, but that wasn't Cyrus. Cyrus came in, and the first thing he would do was he would pray to the gods of the people that he was conquering, and this kept them on his side better. The Jews, who had been persecuted even way back then because they were oddballs in the ancient world because they were the only ones who worshipped one God, who they called Yahweh. And this did not offend Cyrus, and so he let them be. And, so like I said, people tended to like Cyrus. He was different. He was a great military leader. He was a great conqueror, but when he conquered a place, he made it better. There were people that it was better for them to be conquered by the Persians. The Greeks called him the lawgiver because he brought Persian laws. The Jews called him the anointed of the Lord, and he allowed over 40,000 Jews to return to their homeland in Palestine. So a lot of good things with Cyrus. He's the founder of the Achaemenid dynasty, which was the first dynasty of the Persian Empire. He's a good one. His son Cambyses, not as good. Not tolerant. He's kind of opposite of his father. But Cambyses doesn't rule for very long, only about 8 years, and he's murdered. So then the next big deal is right after Cambyses is assassinated, Darius the Great becomes the leader, and he's probably even better than Cyrus. He's most likely the high point of the Persian Empire. He builds their new capital at Persepolis. He extends the Persian Empire all the way to the Indus River. He builds a canal in Egypt. He does all these fantastic things. Another thing Darius was known for more than Cyrus was, Darius was known as the great administrator. Cyrus conquered more areas, but what Darius did was he took the empire that Cyrus had conquered and he broke it up into more manageable units called satrapies, which we'll talk about that in just a second. He established a better tax collecting system. He divided the empire into districts called satrapies, like I said. He built the great rural road system, which was like 1,700 miles of really good roads that could allow him to move his troops very quickly. It allowed for information to reach places very quickly. A good postal system. And, he has this, up to this point when we talk about empires, we talk about centralization, everything running through that emperor. But Darius was a man who entrusted rule to local people. Now, to make sure that they followed his edicts and did what he wanted them to do, he kept this very complex network of eyes and ears, basically spies. And so his rural road allowed him, if he heard bad things coming from one of his satraps, then he could round up his units and he could show up very quickly and take care of business. So very important there. Here's some ruins of ancient Persepolis, very advanced city. The famous Alexander the Great, when he took his Greek forces into the empire, was blown away by how advanced they were. The Greeks always called anybody who was non-Greek barbarians. They thought of the Persians as barbarians, but as they invaded their homeland, they come to realize that the Persians were even more advanced than they were. Again, some of the great artwork and reliefs from Persepolis, which was accidentally caught on fire following Alexander's conquering of it. Here you can see another map of their great empire. And it's enormous, very large. More artwork. And the last little bit we'll talk about here with the Persians is they gave us a religion called Zoroastrianism, founded by Zarathustra, or as some called him, Zoroaster. And it's a pretty easy religion, and you will see elements of Christianity and Judaism and Islam with Zoroastrianism. The big thing with Zoroastrianism was it was a dualistic nature. Should sound familiar to Christians. Good versus evil, God versus the devil, if you will. Ahura Mazda was the god of good in Zoroastrianism, and Ahriman was the destructive spirit. And humans were the middle ground. Everything we did on a daily basis, we were either doing for good or we were doing for evil. And then the last one, the Zend-Avesta, is basically their Bible, the book of law. And again, it's about fighting evil and being good and doing good things. Okay, that's it in a nutshell. We'll do a little bit more Persia in class, but the big two rulers you need to know, Cyrus the Great and Darius. The religion that comes out of there is Zoroastrianism, and basically that they use superior technology and roads to help keep track of their massive and sprawling empire. Okay, thank you. See you next episode.